Welcome, everyone. We have another very special podcast today, of course, brought to you by ClubGG, where you can create clubs for free and win hundreds of thousands of dollars in prizes monthly. Today, the man, the myth, from Finland, Dan Tolppanen, if I'm pronouncing that right, also known as Uniikki, which is very unique, right? If I'm pronouncing that correctly, apologize for that. But Dan, thank you for coming on today. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good, and your pronunciation was like perfect.
All right. Well, hey, listen, I hope so. It's a cool looking name. I definitely am not versed in the beautiful language over there. I've actually never been to Finland. I know Helsinki, I hear, is one of the more beautiful cities and amazing places. So I do hope to go. It's on my bucket list. And is that where you are? Are you in Helsinki specifically, or what part of Finland?
Yeah, I live in Helsinki right now, and I'm at home. So yeah, and you're welcome. Everyone want to come here? I will show you some good time.
I love it. I love it. Well, it's definitely near the top of my list. I have heard great things. So let's dive in. I know your poker background. You love poker. You're a musician. Fundamentally, that's your sort of main thing. You've done acting and all different types of things, which we're going to talk about. Maybe give a little background about who you are, again, like life story in a minute or two, but then segue into how you got into poker. Let's start with that.
Yeah. So yeah, my real name is Dan, and I'm known in Finland mostly as a musician. And my career started like 20 years ago when I first signed to Warner Music in Finland and did couple albums there. And 2003, we made an indie label with my friends here in Finland, and it grew really big and still is today one of the biggest indie labels in Finland. We produce mostly rap, pop, R&B music, and I've been making 13 albums, I think, and hundreds of millions streams in YouTube and Spotify. Done over 1,000 shows. Of course, mostly in Finland because my music is in Finnish, but also been performing in Tokyo, Amsterdam, UK, Tallinn. So also some shows abroad, and it's been great. And also, doing TV shows and some reality shows like The Apprentice and all kinds of stuff. And but the music is like the platform that has made all those other things possible for me. And actually, through music, I get into poker as well. In circa 2007, 2008, I met this young high stakes crusher called Ilari Sahamies, and he was really big fan of our music, and he knew all the songs. He knew all my songs when I first met him. He was just rapping my own music to me, and I knew that he was like a big poker player, and we really get to know each other. We had mad good time hanging out, and I watched him play like a really big stakes. Like they were like switching, like, "Hey, can you give me 100 grand on like full tilt?" And I was like, what is this, like big stake stuff? And then Ilari came one of my videos. They had this poker company called Power Poker, and they sponsored one of my most successful music videos and songs called Pojat on Poiki. That is Boys Will Be Boys, if the title of the song, and that's the video right there.
And you mentioned that before I was looking at this and kind of scrolling through, and you said this was a very nice penthouse view, obviously, but this is in Finland, and this is actually what was the story. One of the guys won the EPT at 19 years old and bought this. Is this
yeah?
True?
So the one of the most successful PLO players of all time, Jens Kyllönen, Jeans 89. He won the EPT Copenhagen when he was 19, and at the same time, I get to know him and Ilari like almost at the same time, because we were searching a location for the video, and Jens said like, I got this friend. He just bought this really nice penthouse and he won like million in Copenhagen. And then he called Jens and, can we come and shoot part of the video at your new condo? And Jens was, well, actually, I'm going to play some tournament series in Bulgaria. I'm leaving today, but I will give you guys the keys, and I will leave 17,000 euros on 500 bills on the on the bedroom. So if you need it, you can just like do whatever, but return it, please. And the story went that at one shot, Ilari is on Jean's bed, and there's a midget throwing those bills on Ilahi. So, but we cleared all those bills when he came back from Bulgaria, so it was all good.
I love it. I'm gonna have to. We'll have to scroll through that. I'm worried about like copyright, right? If I show or play the video, it may ban this video. I had that happen once with someone where we were showing something. So even though I'm sure you give us permission, I would hope. But yeah, I don't know how that works. So yeah, we'll have to. You guys gotta check that out. We'll put that in the show more below. I see that did have over 10 million views or something crazy. It looks like a lot of
I think
hits.
it has like 10 million views on YouTube, and which is like really big number, and also Spotify is 10 million or something as well.
Yeah, and is that so? That song, what year was that in?
Yeah, 8.7. That was like 2009, I think. The video came out.
And how active are you now versus then in terms of your pie chart on time for music, poker? What is your main passion now?
Well, at that time, after that song came out, I was actually banned before that in the band, 3 guys, but that was my one of my first solo singles. So that really blew up. The song came so big. So after that, like many years, I did like 121 or 130 shows per year, which was quite exhausting. Like some days I made like 3 shows per day. But nowadays I'm so old, 41, so I don't have the energy, and I have more focused a bit on other businesses like poker and making some social media collaborations. One quite successful startup is for invoicing service for companies. And yeah, but this year I'm trying to play a lot of poker because it's been good. Like during the COVID, I've been studying quite a lot. I have a lot of professionals as friends, and so yeah, one goal to this year is just travel a lot and get new flags on my Hendon mob, and hopefully get some decent scores. And that's one thing I really like about like the community, poker community here in Finland, because all those guys, Elis, Joni, Ilari, like their stakes are like 10 or 100 times bigger than me, but they always have time to teach and like talk about hands and stuff. So I think that's one thing I'm quite good as well, at least on those stakes I'm playing by myself.
Yeah, that's that definitely some of the best players in the world, just very friendly guys too. I know Joni well and really like him a lot. What do you think makes the Finland sort of, stereotypically, right, as a country, feel like very good poker players, but more so PLO? This is a question that I've talked to Patrick Antonius about. He's been on the podcast. I see he's on one of the featured episodes, obviously a very successful, one of the, most well-known poker players in the world, been around forever and had so much success over the years. What do you think it is that makes Finland so good at poker and in particular PLO?
Well, yeah, at least one thing I think that when I went to casino here in Helsinki, they always have like at least the same amount PLO tables as the no limit. So, if there's a queue on the no limit table, then you go to PLO table and you start to learn that game. So we are offering a lot of PLO games in Finland. In every place you go, there's at least the same amount of tables of PLO as there's Hold'em. And I think that is the one reason, and that's I think one general reason why we're good is because like before I went to abroad first time, I played many years in Casino Helsinki and just in Finland, and I realized when I went to abroad, like the first time, how the top level or how big or high the level for the poker is in Finland. So I didn't even realize that before I went to play, abroad, and after that I started to go more and more because it's a good school to go, learn here to play first and then go like outside of Finland.
Yeah. And it's, where is it though? Like, is it something about, is that, you think that's the main reason though? Is it because you just play more? It's because like there's a lot of parts of the country, even in South Florida now, primarily at the Hard Rock, right? You go, it's five card PLO is like the main game by far. So it's not, it's not like, is it that just a head start? Is it the IQ's higher? Is it the water? People live healthier? Like what is it that make they're just so good?
Yeah, well, they say it's in our mother's milk, but I don't know about that. But yeah, I think at least I think we got a little bit of head start, because now when I'm going like the EPTs, and I went to the like WSOP first time this year, and now people are starting to talk about more and more about the PLO5. But in Finland, it's been like a really popular game, at least for like 6-7 years. Like people have been playing so much like PLO5, so I think there is a head start. When people go PLO5, there are so many combinations of the hands. Yeah, they think, oh, I got a flush draw, I got a straight draw. They don't even know, like mostly you need the nuts
Right.
to win, and they're overvaluing their hands, and in like it's such a cliche, but tide is right, and that's even more in PLO5.
Yeah.
And one thing, maybe because of the role models, because when I get to know Ilari and Jens, they were like especially the PLO crushers, and they were known to like beat those games. And maybe the younger generation of poker players, they're looking up to those guys and looking like, yeah, Omaha is the Finnish thing, and they put more focus and time to that.
Right. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And the Last Call poker documentary. So this is something that I know you've put a lot of time, effort. It's getting a lot of really good feedback. What is this about? Can you tell me where did you start this, and where did this idea come about?
Yeah, so Last Call documentary has been really one of my main things in these times after COVID. And originally the concept was a little bit different from what it came after all, because it was just it was supposed to be about me to go and play my first WSOP main event, like a YouTube series about that, like maybe 2-3 episodes. But then came COVID, so I was supposed to go that year. The COVID came, so that was 2020 or 19, 20, yeah. So we couldn't go because everything was canceled. And then at the same time, I switched. I've been poker ambassador for 9 years for 2 different companies. I switched a company, and they were more open to new kinds of marketing stuff, and really, like we said, like this is going to be a cool thing, like we want to do it for the poker culture, and they totally like understand the value. So we get quite nice budget, and after COVID, that we could like travel again. Then the whole idea just escalated. Let's do like a worldwide documentary, not just me, but like every other like big poker players in Finland and in abroad, and I would be like a host, more like a host of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we reached out to Patrick, which is obviously the most known poker player in Finland and quite known internationally as well, and got him on the first season. Got Dara Kearney, got Jens, got really good numbers, like maybe 200,000 views or something, and it went really good. So we got a budget for second season, which is airing right now, and there's now I think there's now 5 episodes to come of season 2. There's now out 5 episodes, and there's still 2 episodes to come. This month we're gonna have 1 episode of mixed games scene in Chicago, and other one is me and this guy Casimir, which is new 20-year-old really good player in Finland. We went to EPT Monaco last year with him, and like he was coaching me, and it's really fun episode about like traveling and how to be a aspiring new like a poker talent in Finland and in the world.
And is that something? So is it more style the documentary? Is it talking? Is it educational about poker? Is it about the individual, or what? I know your goal, you want to bring more people to mainstream poker, right? That's one of the main goals. But what is the actual documentary and the shooting of this? Like, what is the series like specifically showing? What can people get from it?
Yeah. So the main goals when we first started was that we didn't want to dive into deep like the strategy things or like that. We wanted to be more for the mainstream, but that poker players could also enjoy it. So we wanted to focus like on the like a people's persons, like how they are as a outside of poker as well. Like we went to Patrick and just hanging out with him like 3 days, like constantly talking. And do you know the Formula One show, The Thrive to Survive?
Yeah.
So it's about the like drivers, how they are, and even like all the, I know like a lot of girls that love the show even though haven't watched for F1 ever.
Mhm.
So I wanted to make about, because there's so many interesting personalities in poker. So I just wanted to show it to the camera, like how, because there's
If
not.
if you and Patrick Antonius walk down the street in Helsinki, who's getting recognized first? Are you guys both pretty well known, or is it or would you say you're more because you're more music? I mean, poker's popular, but it's not. Is it still niche, or does people pretty much know the top poker players?
No, I think I'm more known than Patrick.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean Patrick's definitely in poker. Everyone's gonna know who he is, but it's still like poker's not. Yeah, it's not like it may be in a different right in Las Vegas or in a casino versus on the main street. But that is he's well known though, right? He is well
Yeah,
known
yeah.
in in
And
Finland.
Ilari is quite well known. He's been some TV show, doing TV shows and crazy stuff, and he's been in some tabloid magazines as well because he's always doing crazy stuff.
Right.
At least when he was younger, because he was like the young poker millionaire, showed his ass from the taxi cab or something, you know.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot of poker personalities. I've always thought that would be the interesting part about poker though is a lot of the most interesting things, you can't really show are like the home game life, right? Like what it's like and the highs and the lows and gambling. And then there's different laws and regulations in different places.
Yeah,
So it feels in the US at least now with sports betting legal at a federal level. Poker's now legal in Michigan or it's licenses in Pennsylvania. So it's starting to come back, but it's just a shame, right? Like backgammon, such a beautiful game, or chess and like poker, also such a mental toughness game. But there's also luck involved. It just like it feels like it's close. Like I always feel like poker takes one or two steps forward, and then you hear like the Jack Forward's hand thing or the
that
Postle
was so crazy.
situation, right? Like where like that, like it's this negative. Oh, got having some camera issues here, but it's a bummer when you hear these negative things that get highlighted and pushed so hard because like it just at the same time though live poker feels up, the online poker numbers are moving forward. Of course, there's solvers and bots and all these possible problems that are prevalent. But it does seem like poker is getting more popular, right? As a whole, like it feels like it's growing, it's getting more mainstream, less taboo, and more appreciation for it. At the same time, it's still not completely like it has kind of seedy connotations, right? Where you're not necessarily like, oh, I'm a professional poker player and wear it with the badge of honor. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like when you tell someone you're a professional poker player, it's almost like you don't know what you're going to get reaction wise, right? Or I do this for a living. It's interesting. You get a mixed bag of reviews for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I really like, I'm doing this like for the love of the culture. The game has been like giving me so much fun experiences, and been traveling around the world and getting to know to different personalities. It's been so much fun, and I try to always explain to the people that it's not just a dumb luck, and it's like the game that requires so much skill. Because when I tell them, yeah, I've been studying a lot, like, what, can you study poker? And then I'm telling, yeah, you can like study with your friends, like you can study with the solvers, you can watch streams, and they're like, you can never get ready or be ready. Like you can spend your whole life like the same in chess. Like, so I love the competition. I'm really a social, outgoing person, so I play online, but I enjoy live poker so much more. So I'm really focusing on that. And after COVID, I think it's been great to see like there's almost like the second boom. I think when you go to Prague, EPT, or Monaco or Vegas, like so many tournament series, live series, they are like doing breaking records. More and more new people coming into the scene, and I want to be like part of that and growing that. And that's why I hosted my own tournament series in Finland. I was starting to get new celebrities to come, and I think I've been helping to poker get more recognition. How do you say it?
Recognition, yeah, more
Recognition
recognized, yeah.
in
Mhm.
Finland, and I'm really glad because it's a beautiful game, but you gotta remember the bankroll management. And but for me, I think why my games has been going quite good is because I could play higher stakes, but I'm playing with the money that I doesn't mix it with my normal income. So it's
Mhm.
really, I wouldn't want to be a full-time pro. because
Right.
it would be like too stressful for me, and I love to be like a recreational player, but who loves to study and get better in the game.
Do you prefer 4 PLO, 5, or 6 currently?
4.
4? Do
Yeah.
you like 5? Does that spread too at the casino? Do people play it?
Yeah, I like 5, but the like it's such a gamble. Like it's totally different game than 4, and I've been studying PLO4 quite a lot, but not so much the 5. So I think I have more edge when I go play the PLO4.
Right. And what about in terms of, promoting a documentary? You're obviously notable, very, musician, especially in Finland. People look up to you, they follow you, they respect you. Do you feel any responsibility or pressure in terms of promoting poker? Because of course we know, as you study the game, it's deep, there's solvers, there's a lot of work that can go into it. And just like anything in life, you can overdo it, right? Or push the boundaries or do something irresponsible, right? A lot of things you can be addicted or whatnot. But with poker, it's sort of, I always say that, like, I love the game. I try to like show people how beautiful a game it is and to never encourage people to go further than they do. But obviously it's something do you feel that responsibility a bit where you're like promoting a game where that some people can lose or maybe get carried away? How do you sort of approach that?
Well, I always try to be like a saying, like, be really do it in ethically, or how you say it, like
Like
in
conservative, like to
a
not
legit way,
over.
that
Yeah.
that I always remind people that don't don't play the money that you can't afford to lose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't feel like that. Like, I love the game and I want to show it because it's a great game. Of course, some people have problems with it, but for example, but when the COVID hit, I got this really good offer from Tallinn, which is the country next to us.
Hmm.
Uh, you can go like 1.5 hours by boat, and I got really good offer that if you want to stream, we will. Like, I didn't have a job because all the shows were canceled just when the COVID hit. Like,
Hmm.
I had to cancel like 50 shows, and I didn't have work to do. So they said, like, if you want to come for a year to Tallinn, we're gonna pay your condo, your car. We're gonna and they would have been paying me a lot of money, but I would have been streaming like five days a week, but half poker and half slots.
Mm.
So that's the thing I would never do, because
Right.
that's not cool. Like, the slots are from hell, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah. That's the thing.
I
Like,
have
look,
so many
I
fun.
yeah, I know I have friends or people I know have done it, and like, yeah, there's always different levels and areas of sort of reasonable stuff, and yeah, it's like some people could say it's entertainment, but that obviously we know the house has the edge on that
Yeah.
purely, and so that's obviously like sort of it's a tricky one. Is that where you're saying where Juventus is? That part of Italy?
Sorry.
Where Juventus, the club, is that part of Italy?
No, 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 not Italy. Tallinn,
Tallinn. Okay, not Turin.
Estonia.
Oh, Estonia next door. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. No, they have pretty liberal crypto laws there. It's like a crypto haven too, as well, and they may be a little more loose on everything there. I've never been there. Heard good things, but I'm not as familiar with that country. And what are the current laws in Finland and Sweden? Sort of that the Scandinavian countries. It's definitely more strict with poker in terms of depositing and rules and regulations. What's the current landscape there?
Yeah, so the Sweden is better because they have now a licensed market. They have been having it for a few years, and it had worked really well. So there's new operators in the country, and there's more money flowing onto culture and sports. But in Finland, there has been like a monopoly, and it's been really bad because there's only one company which is owned by government, who can like decide who owns the casinos. Uh, and now they like prevented all the marketing from other companies. So I used to do this called Poker Room for 2 years now, that we made the last call with, but now it's canceled at the moment.
Mhm.
But there's good news, because there's now all the politicians are now turning their jackets, or how you say it, and they're starting to vouch for the license market. So we think it's gonna come 2025 or 26. We're gonna have a license market as well here in Finland, and then there's gonna be endless possibilities to do like so much nice stuff and host tournaments. do marketing, all the fun stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that now.
Very cool. And I got to ask you, kind of going back to music, being a musician, how did you know you had that talent, and what attributes do you have? Because this is something I find fascinating always, whether it's poker, music, acting. There's so much luck involved too, right? Like you have to create your own. Oh,
Yeah.
lost my camera there. It's lucky when you have bad equipment or good equipment. I don't know what's going on with my cord here, but how did you get into specifically music, and what is your sort of talent? What makes you to be a top musician?
Well, I think I was really like a proper hip hop head when I was a kid. I started like breakdancing when I was maybe 11 or 12 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really get into urban music as well, like listening some really old school hip hop to break into. And I don't know, I just remember I wrote my first verses when I was like 12 or 13. I was like just found NWA, Straight Out of Compton, and those songs, and I really wanted to be like a gangster, gangster from Helsinki. So, but I was 12 or something.
Right.
But yeah, and I don't know, I really liked rap, and I could never imagine it as a profession because we were the first ones to do rap in Finland. Our company, when we started, we released our first stuff like in 99 or something. There wasn't any rap music, or at least commercial rap music, or like you couldn't imagine that you could like live out of it.
Right.
So and now today the rap is the most popular genre in the whole Finland. So we were really starting that whole scene in here. So I think that will be my like biggest legacy of my life, that we really started the rap scene here in Finland. And it actually came because we first saw that it was really big in France, and then in Sweden there was really big, like the first rapper who rapped in Swedish. So we thought, hey, if they are doing it, why can't we try that? Because before that there was only like this like a joke rap, like which was just a pure joke. But we were first to do it like a proper way, and it's crazy because nowadays, like people, their career might last like 3 years. They go to Spotify top 10 and then they come down from there. But it's been really a blessing able to do music for 20 years for a living, and yeah, and all the other stuff that it has been made possible. So it's been great.
Yeah. So, and when did you know? Did you know you had a hit when you had this song when it came out? Because that's always interesting to me too. Like musicians, they create so much music, they write music, they do different things, and then something just clicks and hits. Is it noticeable when you come up with it? When you do the lyrics, when you hear the beat, when you put the song together, when do you know when something's going to kind of be a star or a standout song?
Well, if we're talking about that song, when we made the chorus in the studio, I just think, yeah, this is gonna be a banger. It's gonna be big. And sometimes I don't know, you just know. Maybe like usually it's the chorus, of course, because that's the thing that makes the song popular. But there's also like quite many letdowns for every artist, because you always, like, sometimes when you think this is going to be like the biggest song of my career, and then you release it and it's not, then it's quite mentally, it's really struggling, especially nowadays, because it's the youth. Spotify time has, like, nobody's making that many albums no more. It's more about the songs. You gotta make a hit songs, and like the circle of the song, or how you say it, there's not like classics like Bohemian Rhapsody or all the classics, because it's so fast. Every Friday there's the new music Friday on Spotify. There's 1,000 new songs you go through, and so there's not that kind of a classics anymore. And I think the pain is so much like so the stress is like worse, because it used to be like you do one album and one tour per year, and that was it. But nowadays, it's if one of your songs is not going well, then you gotta try to make a new hit, and But sometimes when you do hit after hit, then it's good. But yeah,
right.
it goes like poker. It's the variance.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I mean, this seems very similar to like Olympics or athletes, and I mean, and something like that where the highs are high and the lows are low, and it
Yeah,
seems like it's very difficult. But you could say about a lot of things, right? Poker as well, right? You're
yeah.
on a winning streak. You lose 10 cash sessions in a row, or you don't cash 20 tournaments in a row, or you win a tournament, get second the next, and you're on top of the world. So, how much mental preparation or sort of protocol do you go through? Do you have a team? Do you have a mental coach, a life coach, a manager? Like, how give me a little bit of a look into your sort of overall team and how you operate.
Well, the songs we are making, usually we have a team of two or three, but I make songs with different teams. And then I have my label. Then I have my therapist, which is really important.
Right.
And but yeah, yeah, and my A&R, and the people who are doing the promotion. So
What does A&R stand for?
uh, it's like who is responsible of your.
PR, like public relations, like the media. And
He's like a manager. Let's say that.
okay, yeah, that's has that been fun or has that been stressful to that process, the business side, to get everything in a row? Because I think with poker content, these type of things as well, I'm sure you've seen it. Like it's fun to film, right? Sit with Patrick, go to cool locations, film things, but the actual work of like organizing and setting up, and there's a lot of things like making a movie or anything. It's not just like, actors will say it all the time. Like they talk about it, like it's actually not that fun to shoot a movie, right? It's like take after take and sort of monotonous. Like, have you find the process of creating fun, stressful, or a little of both?
A little both, and it really switches. Like sometimes you can do a song and it takes 2 years because you go back in the studio. I don't know, and then you think, okay, maybe I try one more time, and we switch this and that, this instrument. Let's go with the piano, not guitar, and then it comes out, and it's a really big hit after 2 years. And so it's stressful because you're gonna have a 10 studio sessions, but sometimes you just go and you do one session and then boom, it's done, and it's like magic, like how we did it,
Mhm.
like in so fast. So it really depends. But yeah, I love to do my art, and especially the shows has always been really important to me because I love to bring joy and happiness to the people, and that's why I don't like, even though I'm quite old as an artist who makes rap music, but I still want to tour because I want to bring happiness and entertainment to people. That's my thing.
And tell me about touring and concerts. What does that look like per year? Like how many shows do you typically do? How big? You said COVID sort of threw a wrench in that, obviously, but
Yeah.
like typically, what? Give me like 2023. What does your 2023 look like?
Well, I think now on the like winter and spring, I'm gonna do more song. I'm I will be more in the studio making new music, but maybe summer and fall time I'm gonna tour more. But I don't think I'm gonna make that many shows this year. Maybe like 30, and next year I think will be busier because this year I want to focus more on making new songs, and this year and next year I want to perform those songs. So.
Oh, I mean, 30 is still a lot. Like, what type of audience and city? You mentioned Tokyo. You stay, within Finland, but what is a typical size concert for you and venue? Like, and on a tour, you go for like a couple of weeks at a time or a month, or it could be just.
No, it's Finland. It's more like it's like mostly on weekends. So you do every Friday, Saturday, maybe Wednesday, some student parties, and then summer more. But yeah, maybe like a normal show would be like a 800 people or
Mhm.
1,000 people, 400 to 1,000 people in like club or nightclub or venue. And then summer times the festivals are quite big, so then it might be like to 10,000 people or something like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
summertime the shows are the biggest. But yeah, 30 is not a lot for me because in the yeah my best year is 135 shows, and I did like 6 years in a row over 100 shows per year. So that was crazy because Finland, there's only like 5 million people, but the country is really long, so the distances are really uh, long. So
Hmm.
when you go on a weekend, you start like Friday morning and then you come back on Sunday night. So that's heavy.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of travel, a lot of trips. And what do you enjoy more now, performing or playing poker? If you would say it, like say like a high stakes poker, the highest you play. on a game or something? What is more exciting to you at the moment?
Well, that's a hard question because it's so different. But maybe like music is still like more important to me, and like because I guess it's more that giving other people, and poker is more to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like the experience that I'm more of a tournament player, because the when you get like now, like last year I was in the EPT final table and stuff. So when you get in the big final table on live, I think the adrenaline is so big, and it's so, that's like nothing else comes even close to that. So, or getting winning a big tournament or something, that's like really huge feeling.
Yeah, and what about tournaments for travel? Do you have the World Series main event? Do you play no limit hold'em tournaments, or you focus primarily on
No,
PLO?
no, yeah, I play more no limit tournaments, because
Okay,
there's not so much PLO tournaments available.
right. And do you get a kick out of is that something is that like World Series this year? Will you be in Vegas? Are you definitely going to play? Is that on your schedule, your calendar to go do?
I don't know. I was the first time in WSOP last year.
Hmm.
It was great experience, because it was my fourth time I tried to go Vegas, and the Destiny has always come to play. So COVID came and some other stuff before, but now I finally got there, and we shot the third season of Last Call. We were 1 month, went to some other places as well, but the season 3 is, yeah, that's going to be most about WSOP, and it's going to be a great season. I think it will air later this year.
And
Uh, sorry.
and and where else do you like to go? What other stops around the world have you played some of the poker series? And you stick with mostly Europe? Have you been to Bahamas and Cyprus?
No,
These other areas? Like, where's some of your favorite stops that you've been?
well, I really like the EPT Barcelona. I like the EPTs. Barcelona, Prague was really good this year,
Hmm.
and it was my first time in EPT Monaco last year. I think the venue was really nice there as well, and of course the WSOP was like no other. But us from Europe, it's quite minus EV to go play there, because if you cash big, you're gonna pay the taxes, which is
Right.
awful. But
Hmm.
I would really like to go to see the Australian poker scene, and yeah, of course the Bahamas is I'm interested in that as well. But I don't know if my bankroll is enough.
Yeah, I just saw the WSOP schedule come out, and I got to actually deep dive into that. I don't know how much. Probably have a little more PLO and maybe even a 5 card event or two. I'm not sure if that made the schedule yet, but it does seem like it's booming. The WPT just had that 10K, 2,900 some
Yeah.
entries. The live series, GG's got huge guarantees. They're giving away World Series poker bracelets. Do you ever play online? Do you get to play some of these GG WSOP bracelet events or circuit events? Do you ever get to play in those?
Yeah, I made one. I made one scoop final table just like I was it 2 months, a few months ago. Sadly busted out on ninth, but got a decent cash. And yeah, I've been playing. I just I won a ticket to the some ho 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 Omaha on the WSO Winter on GG. I played some satellite for $26. Came first and win the 500 something ticket. So yeah, so I'm playing those.
Very, very nice. And if you
Tomorrow.
could choose a no limit or PLO event, same size, you'd choose PLO. If it was like say a big buy-in and same number of runners, do you prefer PLO tournaments?
Yeah.
PLO. Yeah, it's something just fun about. I don't know, something to me more fun. Now they're adding antes to most of the PLO tournaments, and it does seem to be. There, like you said, there's really not much more fun than being deep in a tournament for big money and having chips. It's sort of a feeling you can't really replicate. What do your family friends think about you getting into music? Was this something that was difficult? You started so young, but was your family like, hey, this is, or maybe they just looked at it like, oh, this is a hobby and you'll grow out of it, or was this like, when did they sort of, what was their support like? Was it very from the start supportive, or did it take some time for them to be supportive of the musician life and dive into that?
Yeah, well, I think my mom and dad they always been quite supportive. So they because when we signed, like when we first signed to Warner Music, it started like really fast. So I was only like 19 years old and making more money than my peers of my age. So I was just finished high school and army before that, so they were happy for that because they
Right.
were just to get good education. And then after, like, when I was 26, I was doing shows and music and running the record label, but I still went to get a degree in a Bachelor of Business and Administration, so they
Very
were
cool.
even more happier. So
And what is your record label? What does this mean? What is this? I like the name. It looks cool, but what does it stand for?
Kahina, that's like a raucous records. Kahina Records. It's like a positive energy.
And your Instagram, you told me it means like unique. This is what that means, Uniikki, Danny Uniikki. Is that kind of
Yeah,
how it translates?
yeah, you said it correct. So
Very nice. And what is this? What's going on here? This is what we're gonna use for your banner, the cover. I like it. But what's this pink outfit and what
uh,
what's going on there?
well, actually, I made this cool campaign with Taco Bell on this summer.
Okay.
That was one of the picks from the campaign. So we made like our own custom-made merchandise that I designed with the designers. So there's some. If you go down, there's some of the clothing we made with Taco Bell. So uh, you just go a little bit down on my there.
Okay.
There you go. There you
Very,
see it.
very nice.
So,
And what does this mean? Fakji. I see this a lot on your.
oh, that's like fuck yeah. That was just my single from this year.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, my dad actually was asking me, make some notes and saw that, was asking me what that meant. But and I see you are a hockey fan as well. What's is that just that's one of those things that's in the DNA there in Finland?
I don't know. I'm like a soccer fan. I'm a hockey fan. I'm yeah. Everybody's in Finland are hockey fans because we're so successful. We just won the world championships and the gold medals in Olympics. So yeah, but that was just a picture, and I was thinking that because I'm with the phone, so I was like, "Hi, hello, 2023." Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah,
So if you want more fun content like that, go check my Instagram.
very, very, very nice. And Spotify, explain to me about the sort of business side of music currently, because this is also fascinating to me. People ask me all the time about Twitch, and I used to stream
Yeah,
regularly on Twitch. It's like, oh, how much money you make from Twitch or YouTube, like in terms of impressions and clicks. But a lot of it is about, at least from my experience too, it's a lot about just exposure, putting it out there. That's how you get sort of deals and opportunities. But the actual money from, say, because like on the Spotify, for example, you have 8 million, over 8 million, 8.5 million downloads or plays, but like in terms of money, like could you explain a bit on economics on like how nowadays music works? Because like you said, it's changed. It's not selling records really, right? That's sort of like now it's based on, there's new metrics and ways to view stuff. So could you maybe just give me an overview on how it kind of works?
Yeah, the streams are, yeah, you're right. More about exposure. So you get stream, you get shows. So I think at least for me, the main income when it comes to music is from the shows. So the streams are, if you stream 2 million, which that's like the gold standard, you will get the gold record from 2 million in Finland, and for 4 million is platinum. So 2 million, I think the revenue is like 10K, which is divided to the artist, to the team who makes the song, and to the record label. So that's not much. And and 2 million in Finland, that's a lot of streams. But I think like if my song streams 2 million, then I'm like satisfied. If it's under that, if it's under a goal, then I'm not happy with that. So, but
Right.
yeah, maybe the normal artist will make like a, $3,000 from the gold single. So that's nothing.
Right. Yeah, it's not going to keep the
You make
lights on.
5 gold singles per year, which would be a good result. You make like 15K.
Right. But like I said, you got Taco Bell, you got sponsorships, you got, doing different things. You're on TV shows, you're doing stuff. And that's sort of, it's sort of a launch pad for a lot of different things. What would you say, are you the current state of music in the industry and the current state of poker in the industry, from your understandings, what do you feel? How do you feel like the trajectories are for each in terms of popularity, politics, fairness, and all that? I don't know if they're different, of course, but like, what do you feel like things are moving forward and you're happy, or do you feel like there's things that need a lot of work and improvement and you see some faults?
Like on my behalf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I think like my career peak has been like I have reached my peak a few years ago when I made like really big songs, and when I had the energy to do like over 100 shows and stuff. But that's just common thing because I was 30. You're more like, idols for teenagers and young adults.
Yeah.
So I think like I still have hungry for music, but and still have like many people going to my shows. But I think I have energy to do music and shows maybe maximum 5 years, and then I'm gonna just shift my focus elsewhere. But maybe poker on the other hand, I think I'm still like getting started because my financial situation is quite good because I've been grinding the music and other businesses for 20 years. So I'm thinking about traveling and like not taking a shot like to live out of it, but getting a chance. I have more free time. Like I want to travel and like play poker and do stuff related to that. And as said, I have the one startup which is going quite good. So I think that is going to be the one thing I'm going to grind a lot this year as well.
And if you weren't doing music or poker, what else do you think you would be doing? And look, I mean, you obviously started this own record company or a label, right? So that I'm sure that there's a lot that can be done there.
Yeah.
What is another hobby or something that you really enjoy?
I know I would be an entrepreneur for sure because I always been liking like I wanted to be involved in different companies. But I'm really into tennis, being for a few years, so maybe it would revolve around that. Maybe like start go taking people to tennis holidays because that's something is missing. Like to do this, I've been thinking about this really high end tennis holidays to where to take people.
Is padel or pickleball popular there at all in Finland?
Yeah, that's crazy. All the poker players are playing padel. Like,
yeah, that's the game of choice down here now. But also pickleball is like the fastest growing sport in America. It's similar. I don't know if you guys play that one, but it's a bit
we
different.
don't. I know what it is, but I don't play. I just play tennis.
Okay. Yeah, tennis is fun. I feel like pickle's more you could play with your girlfriend, your wife, like you could play with someone that is not or your young child, right? And you can hit and kind of rally and have fun.
Yeah.
But when you're playing with when you're playing with tennis, right? You're not going to be able to play with your girlfriend. Like your girlfriend, you said you're not your girlfriend, correct? Not what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you're not going to go, you could play pickle with her much easier, and she could probably pick it up and you can rally. But like tennis, she's not going to return your serve or you can't. There's a lot of skill gap, right?
Yeah.
Like in general. So yeah. That is something that's one of your passion sports, tennis, that you play or that you like to watch?
I do like a tennis and CrossFit. So that are like the two things. But I've always been like, and I've been playing soccer, not anymore, but I played it for like 12, 13 years. And I like to do all the different sports. And now the snowboard season is starting. I'm really looking forward to it and different activities.
Right. Yeah. No, how is soccer currently? I mean, the World Cup just happened. You said, is it a pretty popular sport there?
Yeah, well, it's popular. Okay. We made it to the European Championships for the first time ever, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Which was really big thing, and I waited all my life to finally get on the European or the World Championship. So maybe we will get to the next World Cup. That would be awesome. I think the soccer culture is like growing more and more, and I love soccer.
Well, next World Cup's gonna have 48 teams.
I know.
So that feels like it's got to be a big improvement. Also Holland, right? That guy from Norway? Is it Norway?
Yeah, he's crazy.
He's insane. Like guy's just an absolute machine. But that's a disappointing, right? To see guys like that not get in the World Cup. And even Italy didn't make the last two World Cups, but I was at the Euro final. They won the Euros, but they don't make the World Cup. It makes no sense, right? How is that possible? That doesn't. It's pretty bizarre. So yeah, I think that's very cool that you have such it feels like you're very focused in two different genres, right? You sort of have a passion in both. If I told you in 2023 you could only do music or you could only play poker, what would you choose?
That's so bad.
I gotta put you on the hot seat a little. I can't give you cream puff questions all day.
Maybe still music because I'm so social. So poker is still like quite a lone thing compared to being there with thousands of people. So
Yeah, and golf. I see golf. You some golf. Is that another sport? Are you pretty good at golf?
no, I'm really bad. I started like last summer.
And is that what's your handicap or not? Don't even have one. Literally just get
No, no,
out there.
I've been playing only like few rounds, so it's like 47. But that's so
Oh,
fun because when I started playing, I've been watching like Elis and Yoni and those guys, and they always like I've been thinking it's so stereotypical a poker player from Finland. He's playing PLO, he's playing tennis, and he's playing golf. So I will not play tennis. I will not play golf. So I started tennis like 3 years ago, and now I'm playing like every week, and now I started golf. So I'm just basic stereotypical poker player from Finland.
yes, yeah, it's a very, very gambly, fun games for sure. Kind of good to have that, right? To be able to, you gotta to be able to play. It's nice to be able to compete because those are games that you can handicap or bridge the gap as long as you're
Yeah,
not absolutely horrendous. And what did you think about Las Vegas and Bellagio? I saw you with some photos there, and you obviously just said you got to go, for sort of first time, well, like one of their first times, I believe. But what are
yeah.
your
It was
experience?
it was my first time in Vegas.
Okay, what's your thoughts on Las Vegas, like compared to what you believed it would be?
Like I was like expecting so much, and it over like it was even more. Like I don't know. I enjoyed it so much. We were for 2 weeks. I was like maybe playing for half of time of that, and I don't know. I just enjoyed everything, like all the restaurants, all the shows, and because so many of my friends have okay, they don't play poker, but they say you can be on the Vegas maybe 3 or 4 days, then you have seen it, and you don't want to be there no more. I was like 2 weeks, and I can be there more like easily like for 6 months because I think there's so much to see, and we were like. Part of the time we were at the hotels at the strip, and part of the time we had like a villa, like 10 minutes from the strip. So it was two totally different experiences as well, and I really liked them both.
Very cool. And what about performing and have you done any American shows or have you done music stuff here or you've done primarily you said Tokyo, Finland, and where else have you are your main places you perform?
Yeah, like though, yeah, like 99% Finland because my music is in Finnish. So
Right. That makes a lot of sense. But Tokyo seems to they just have a that there was some demand there or you just want to go check it out and try it. How did you set up
no, I was actually like when I was like it's so many years ago, but my girlfriend was from half Japanese, and his brother actually was part of the most successful rap group in Japan. So we made a switch. They came to do a show in Finland, and we went to do a couple of shows in Tokyo. So, but that was actually really fun because Japanese audience was, even though they didn't understand the word, they were like, there was like a lot of people, and they were like partying like crazy. So it was really fun experience.
yeah, it's interesting because I've never been there. I actually was supposed to go. I had a green card issue where I was traveling there, and there was an issue with like or not green card, but there was some basically for my wife's Brazilian. She didn't have the right documentation, and the person we booked through somehow didn't catch that. So like literally like flew to London, got on a flight to get on the plane to Tokyo, and we couldn't go, and that was pretty devastating. Then we still haven't been back. I haven't gone there yet, and I've heard it's like one of the most incredible countries in the world. So would you back that up? It's just one of those places you got to go. It's super unique. And
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like you can't compare it to it like anywhere else.
yeah,
It's so, like a different world.
yeah, it's and how many languages do you speak?
I speak like yeah, just Finnish and English and Swedish.
Okay, so three. Yeah, it seems like yeah, that's yeah. And then how similar is Swedish and Finnish?
Not similar, but my mom is from Sweden, and it's compulsory to learn a few years in Sweden when you first start school.
Okay,
Yeah, and
all
I'm
right.
apologizing. My English it's not that good, but
No, it's very good. I've understood very clearly, and I've understood everything and learned a lot. And got a couple more questions though before we end here. I want to know what you believe from attributes like in poker. I've thought a lot about it. I've talked to a lot of people. and just what makes a great poker player, the intangibles like that, also just like bankroll management, game selection, right? All these type of things. To be a great musician, what would you say are some of the ranking, like the scale that people look at, like what attributes, like is it, energy when you're performing, or creativity, songwriting, your vocals, like what is sort of the things that make a musician great in your opinion that maybe someone wouldn't think of on their own?
Well, at least for what I'm known, like here in Finland, is my live performances, and maybe because I have backgrounds in breakdancing and stuff, I like some people, they just stand when they perform. So I'm really energetic, like doing crazy stuff on the stage. So that's always been like my thing. Like you want to bring the crowd the good vibe, the energy, and just maybe like my artist name is Uniikki, so don't blend into the mass. And really, it's a cliche, but you need the charisma. You need to be your like person like nobody else. So there's like many people in Finland that maybe like streaming more than me right now, but I'm the one they will recognize when they go in the street. And maybe in Finland, you like don't get cocky if you get big. Like I always have time to my fans, and I want to be a good guy, and if somebody wants to take a selfie with me, that's like 2 seconds of my day, but it can like make someone really happy. So I always try to think that.
Yeah. And do you have any kind of New Year's, I don't want to say resolutions, but goals for 2023? Do you, like, in terms of you want to create this many songs or go to this many stops in poker, anything that you're really focused on in obtaining this year?
Well, yeah, I've been like my every year my poker goal is to get a new flag in the Hendo mob. So last year I got 4. So maybe if I get better results this year, it will be even better. And yeah, and maybe drop an album in the end of the year. That would be cool. So
yeah, that is pretty special to do. You said you've done 13, is that right? You've had about 13 albums. So
yeah, but my last full my last full album is from 2015. After that, it's only been like songs on Spotify. So
yeah, it's how much work and pressure goes into an album? I'll kind of leave on this last question. Like, tell me from start to finish when you come with it, because there's like even the design of the album, how many songs you put on, what makes the cut, how in that process are you, or do you just produce X amount of songs, give it to a label or to the record? I guess you have your own record label, but how involved are you with an album and that getting put out from start to finish?
well, if I don't know how is it with like a normal artist in Finland, but I'm really involved. I want to be involved in everything. So, but yeah, if you make an album, you make like maybe 10 songs would be good nowadays, or even 8, because the songs are shorter because people's expansion span is shorter and shorter. That's why people wants to see like TikTok for 15 seconds. So there's a lot of songs nowadays that are like 2 minutes instead of 4 that they were earlier. But maybe if you make 8 songs, maybe you need to do at least the triple of that and the demos, and then you just choose the best. It's a lot of work.
My last question is now, it's interesting because similar to poker, right, or hockey or the NFL, they changed NFL now, right? There's 17 games, not 16. So there's all these records. People have receiving records, rushing yard records, this and that, right? So now all of a sudden the history of NFL, the last few years, they add another game, which is like everything's completely off calibration wise. Similar to measuring success or in poker, there's so many bracelets, or they add online bracelets, or there's more entry. So it's hard to calibrate these different records. What about for music with the Michael Jackson or platinum and these records sold, now it's streams? Is there sort of a loss in how to measure the success of songs or downloads and all this? Like how is that? What's the gold standard now? Like, what do you look at? What is a year goes by and you look at an artist and you're like, wow, he had this many albums or this many downloads? Like what, because now it's not the same. You can't compare Michael Jackson to Drake, right? Or to whatever. So how do you do that? How does that work?
Well, I don't know. At least I think nowadays it's easier to get a gold plaque or platinum plaque than if you compare it to the time when there were CDs or vinyls or something. But at least if I look at my plaque use, I'm still quite satisfied and happy with them. At least still I think like not so many people will get like any golden standard record in their life, so it's still a special thing for me, I think.
No, it's very special. That's what my question though. It's sort of hard, right? Because it's like that you see these like old school rappers. I remember seeing like MTV Cribs, and it's like they got their gold, like this platinum, triple platinum, all these things, and now it's not really, there is no record sold, right? So is it converted to like downloads? Is that sort of like
yeah.
That's literally like how they do it.
Yeah, it's converted like when it was albums, the gold album was 15,000 in Finland. You get gold album, and now you need 2 million streams. So it's converted like that.
It's very, very cool. Well, listen, Dan Tolpanen, if I again pronounce, I hope not right, Dan Uniikki on the Instagram and across the board. We will put the show more below, and you guys can check it out. And of course, please check out Last Call. I said your third season is being released. You've had the 2, and that's on your YouTube channel, which is if I can just get it correctly here, House of Poker, at House of Poker. That's the way to find it on YouTube. That is your baby. That is your project. And again, I always commend when there's poker content coming out. I think it's great. I think it's always good, almost always in positive light. And this is very cool to get an in-depth look at the poker scene, especially in Finland. So many top players and legends of the game, and new kind of emerging players that are also having a lot of success. So very, very cool. And Dan, I appreciate the time so much. I certainly will be checking it out, and you guys can watch this, of course, on all the audio outlets, the major ones, and then this will be on YouTube as you are watching now. And any final words, Dan? Anywhere else that they can support, watch you? Are you most active on Instagram, Twitter? What's the best way to follow with you?
Yeah, Instagram is the best way to know what's up. And I want to thank you, Jeff. This was awesome, and I really hope to see you live at some point. I hope you come to Finland. I will show you the best stuff there is, and all the good to you and all your viewers for this year, and all the success.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan. Appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.